Today, I'd like to once again talk about the latest show from Glitch, the Gaslight District, and what exactly I think the future for the series holds based on the reception of the pilot nearly 3 months in. Hey everyone, Inferno here, and be sure to consider liking the video and subscribing if you're new here. I have tons of exciting videos cooking up, so don't miss out. Like I said, I really don't think the Gaslight District is doing bad at all. Actually, when you compare it to the Murder Drones pilot's viewed count within the same time span, it's actually doing significantly better. I really don't think people realize this. I've already seen some people on social media call it a failure due to it not reaching Digital Circus numbers, or even the current view count of the Murder Drones pilot. But come on, are you actually serious? Murder Drones was greenlit for a full season when it had only around 7 million views, which is obviously still a lot, but you get my point. In no way is nearly 18 million views in 3 months something to scoff at. I don't think anyone expected it to get hundreds of millions of views like Digital Circus, and that's okay. The show has clearly found its target audience, and I'm sure over time, more people will discover the show, leading to it getting even more popularity. I went to the mall just the other day, and right on the front of Hot Topic was a huge Glitch poster with the Gaslight District front and center. That is an insane milestone considering that there's only one episode. So yeah, my point is, the Gaslight District is not even close to a failure. It just hasn't had its time to really shine yet, and I'm sure that will come up in due time. In fact, I honestly think we're getting close to a full season announcement. Not only has it been roughly the same amount of time that it took Murder Drones and Digital Circus to get greenlit, but the show's creator, Part-Time Seagull, has been posting artwork as of late that has people speculating if something is on the horizon. I personally think that's the next announcement we can expect from Glitch. Digital Circus Episode 5 just came out, and I really don't expect Episode 6 anytime soon. Knights of Guinevere, on the other hand, could technically be the next thing released, as we don't even have a release window for the show yet, only 2025. But in my opinion, I think it will most likely be released sometime in the fall, as it just seems very ambitious, and considering that it's the studio's first ever 2D animated show, I'm sure they want to get it right. That means Glitch really doesn't have too much to release at the moment. So why not get even more people excited for the Gaslight District by teasing what's next? It just makes perfect sense to me. But then again, the Gaslight District is also a very ambitious show due to its art direction, so maybe I'm looking way too much into this and Glitch is not even close to being ready for news. Which is still completely fine by me, as I just want them to take as long as they need so that it is perfect. I'm just simply going off of their previous pattern. To be fair though, they could always decide to change things up a bit, but I'm at least trying to give you all a sense of what to expect. So this video started out as me just ranting on for 10 minutes about why the Gaslight District is actually a success, but I realized that most of my major points were covered within the first 3 minutes, making a majority of this video pretty redundant, so I figured it would be fun to just talk about the show's feature overall, so that I can still get my point across while not making this a wasted video opportunity. Even then, there's not a ton more to discuss at the moment, and just like Murder Drones and Digital Circus, it's really hard to determine the show's longevity based on a single pilot. But assuming that the show does indeed receive a full season, I'm expecting at least 8 episodes. Nothing too surprising there. I can't say much about a second season though, because besides Meta Runner, there has yet to be a Glitch show with more than a single season. I'm not saying there won't be one, but I feel like the studio would much rather seek out fresh talent on a consistent basis, rather than allow a show to overstay its welcome, which there's really nothing wrong with. It allows new creators to get their shows out there, but keep in mind that Glitch has said in the past that their showrunners get full control over when to end their show. The story does look to have a ton of depth from what we've seen so far, and I wonder if it will be structured in a similar way to Digital Circus, where each episode feels episodic and has its own self-contained plot, but has that more overarching narrative looming in the background. To put it more simply, Digital Circus revolves around the cast going on different adventures in each episode, with subtle bits of lore thrown in to help piece together the overarching plot. Considering that the Gaslight District is a show about a crime family, I wouldn't be surprised if each episode follows the crew taking on a different job, with the ending of each episode seeing the death of one of the 7 heavenly virtues. That could reserve episode 8 for the finale. I've actually discussed this theory a bit more in a previous video, so I highly recommend checking that out. But honestly, if what I said about the virtues ends up being true, I do wonder if that makes a season 2 less likely. Like, where would you even go from there? The virtues are dead, like... Now, obviously, it's probably going to pick up with the Smiling Dead being outcasted or condemned from the Gaslight District due to their little stunt at the end of the pilot. So I definitely feel like something is going to happen from there. Or maybe because the whole theming of the show is, of course, lie, cheat, and deceive, they might be able to worm their way out of it. In fact, that's one of the whole things when it comes to the plot of this show is, you gotta worm your way out of consequences, So I feel like that is going to play a heavy theme going forward as well, as we see the Smiling Dead go on these different jobs. Hell, we don't even know if they're gonna take on different jobs. That's just my theory. I'm just going off of this being a show about the mob. It just makes a lot of sense to me. But I'm super curious about what you all think. Do you think the Gaslight District is very close to being greenlit for a full season? And do you think it'll go beyond a full season? And what do you think is going to happen going forward in the series? There's so many questions. And so little time. Actually, we probably have a lot of time. Regardless of when it's greenlit. It took like 6 months for Digital Circus to get episode 2. So we're probably still going to be waiting quite some time for the Gaslight District episode 2. But, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, be sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and please consider subscribing if you enjoy my content and want to see this channel reach 30,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time guys, this is Inferno signing off.